Welcome back to SoulCast. This episode is different. This is not a quick conversation. This is not surface level motivation. This is for the version of you who knows something is shifting, but can't fully explain it yet. You're not who you used to be, but you're not fully who you're becoming either. You're like in that in between stage, right? And that space can feel confusing, heavy, uncertain, but also it can feel powerful because this is where becoming happens. Let's talk about this space, the in between, the version of you that doesn't resonate with old habits anymore or feels disconnected from certain people, or the version of you that wants more but doesn't fully see how yet. You've outgrown things, but you haven't fully anchored into the new things either. So you feel like you're in transition, right? And this is where most people panic, though. They rush, they try to force clarity, they try to become the new version overnight. But becoming doesn't really work like that. Becoming is not like a glow up, it's actually a shedding. You are shedding old beliefs, old patterns, old identities, and shedding is actually uncomfortable because even if something no longer fits you, it was still very familiar, right? And familiarity feels like safety. So your mind starts to ask, am I doing enough? Am I behind? Why don't I feel settled yet? But the truth is, honey, you are not behind. You're in process, okay? Let's get into the foundation. So, the foundation is self trust because without self trust, nothing is going to stick. You hear me? Nothing. You can have the vision, right? You can have the goals, the ideas, but if you don't trust yourself to really follow through, you'll just keep restarting over and over and over again. Self trust isn't built through affirmations alone. It's actually built through evidence, right? Through showing up for yourself, like, I said I would do this and I did. Even in small ways, this is where we have to get real honest. Let's get honest. How often do you break promises to yourself? That can look like, oh, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll be consistent, or I'll take care of myself. And then life happens, and then you don't. And it's not because you don't care. It's just because you haven't built that muscle yet. And self trust is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows through repetition, not perfection, right? Not perfection, repetition. Now, what can help with self trust? Discipline. And it's not the version that you're used to. It's not supposed to be harsh or rigid or punishing. Discipline is devotion. Discipline is how you show yourself love over and over again. It's not, what do I feel like doing today? Mm-mm. It's, what does my future self need from me today? Now that's a different question. And that's a question that not everybody asks themselves. And this question requires emotional maturity because you won't always feel like doing the thing. Like You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel inspired. Like, we all know that these feelings are come and go. They're temporary, they're fleeting, but you can still choose. And every time you choose alignment over comfort, you strengthen yourself. You have to think about discipline as a stabilizer for your life. It removes chaos and it creates structure. And structure gives your mind peace. Remember that. And with that being said, let's go a little deeper, just a little deeper. Why does growth feel so uncomfortable? I would say it feels uncomfortable because it requires identity change. You're not just changing habits, but you're changing who you believe you are. And of course, your mind will resist that. Your mind will try to pull you back into what's familiar, even if familiar is limiting. And the reason why you do that is because familiar feels safe. We all know that. But we don't want to be stuck and limiting. So when you start expanding, you might feel that resistance. You might feel that fear or that doubt. And sometimes you might hesitate, but that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path at all. It actually means you're stretching your capacity. Let that sink in, because that means that your life is expanding, but your nervous system is catching up. And that takes time. But this is where everything shifts, because you cannot think your way into a new identity. You cannot. You have to embody it, because your body holds everything from stress, fear, emotion, memory. And if you don't move it, it stays. And this is why movement matters. Not as fitness, but as regulation, as release, as connection. So let's take a moment. If you can, place your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath in. And just gently sway. Nothing dramatic, right? Nothing crazy. Just presence. And I want you to notice a few things. I want you to notice your shoulders, your jaw, your breath. What feels tight? What feels open? Because your body is always communicating. And we just have to listen. So if you notice that your jaw is clenched, loosen it up a little bit. Just let your jaw drop. Say, it feels weird, but it releases that tension. What about your shoulders? Are you squeezing them up a little bit? Release, let them drop away from your ears, away from your head. Try to roll your neck side to side. Loosen up your neck and your shoulders. There we go. Now, let's get into letting go. Because becoming the version that you would love to be or that you aspire to be requires letting go. And it's not just externally, we're talking internally. Letting go of the version of you that played small, the habits that kept you comfortable, the identity that no longer fits. And here's the most important part. You don't have to hate who you were to grow. And that's where people kind of get it misconstrued, right? Because that version of you got you right here. She or he protected you. They helped you survive. But that version of you is not who you are becoming. And you can release them with compassion. Because who you're becoming is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be flawless. They will be grounded. They will trust themselves again. They may follow through. They'll start moving with intention. Won't be rushing anymore, won't be shrinking, but will be choosing, right? And that version of you is not separate from you. That version of you is being built right now. How, you may ask? Through your choices, through your discipline, and through your willingness to grow. It's that simple, but it's more complex, as you could imagine. I just want you to walk away remembering that you are not behind. You are simply becoming. And believe it or not, becoming takes time. So give yourself that time. Trust your process. Stay with yourself. And keep moving. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. I hope that you were able to gain a little bit more insight on what it takes to become and what it takes to release. We're going into spring strong and more sure of ourselves each and every day. So until next time, talk to y'all later.